Jonty, another season of the 2023 campaign's underway. We will remain in the Championship, only just. And the Sunday was a nervy afternoon, waiting for them results coming in from the Shea. Obviously, Swinton got a fantastic result, and waiting for the result coming in from the capital, which Keighley couldn't just find the points they needed to try and survive in the Championship. So we will remain in the Championship for 2023. I don't imagine you'll want it to come down to being that tight ever again.
No, definitely not, Jordan. It was a bit of a nervy Sunday, wasn't it? But my goal was my lowest goal this year was to stop in the Championship. We've achieved that. I don't like where we finished. It wasn't so much of a celebration on Sunday than a relief. Finishing third off bottom and getting through by the skin of your teeth isn't where I want to be as a coach. I'm sure the players don't want to be there neither. But that's just how it was. And a lot of folk have said, "Oh, London's done us a favour." Yeah, don't get wrong. They had to win on Sunday by that many points. But when you look at the season as a whole, if we hadn't done what we've done in some of the other games and got good wins at Sheffield and York and witness at home, and you know what I mean, we've done it. We've stopped up because of us, because we've been better than Keighley and we've been better than Newcastle. So I understand the last minute of the season crack, but if we don't do what we do for the 26 games prior to that and be better than Keighley, we go down on that. So yes, Sunday was what it was, but let's have a bit of credit for the lads doing what they've done in them games that nobody gives us a chance in and digging deep and getting to the end, and especially on Saturday as well against a good Toulouse side, mate. I thought that if we played like that for the last 6 or 8 weeks, we wouldn't have been in this position anyhow. And that's what I say about this team. I say it all the time. If I didn't think they had that in them, I probably wouldn't be coaching right now. It's because I know that they've got that much potential and they have got them performances in them. And it took to me and my coaching staff to get them performances out more consistently. So that's why I'm still coaching. I still want to be coaching these guys because I know what they've got in them. So well done to the lads for keeping us in the division under circumstances that we'll probably go into.
You mentioned circumstances we'll go into. It's been a ridiculous season on the field. Obviously, how tight the Championship is. It's probably been a ridiculous season off the field with the issues, the well-documented issues that the club had faced. Obviously, stuff had come out early in the season, early in the campaign about financial issues. It meant some lads had left the club, leaving your squad depleted again at times. And so you've struggled. Some of the fans may not know, and we will go into it, maybe how early them issues started, and it sort of when it all come to a head. It didn't just all come to a head when it did. It had sort of been bubbling under the surface for months before it all come to a head after that Newcastle game, when it come to a head for the fans and the wider rugby league people to know. So it had been bubbling for a while. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about your season as a whole on the field. We'll talk about the lads who have left the club. As we speak, we're announcing that this afternoon as it will be put out. We'll talk about the lads that are leaving the club, and we'll talk about some retention for 2024, which we've already started. Obviously, we've been able to announce the one of the new signings in the last couple of days as well. So looking forward to, looking back, 2023. Get your thoughts? Really, really tight on the field. Issues off the field. Yeah. Get your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I just want to explain to the fans and people. When I took over as head coach, my budget just got less and less each year, which is where we're at as a club. And I was fully aware of that. Last year I was. It was less than the year before my budget. When you look at the other teams, you're just spending more and more and more. So this year we agreed for the 2023 season, look, we need to spend to stop in this league. So I was putting a squad together and I got a certain amount of money. And I was told, hold on, we need to reel it in a bit because there's financial trouble that you talked about that the fans got to know regarding round about the Newcastle game time, which was what was that, June, July? I think it was June, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Our financial as a club started the 12 months prior to that. It really was a 12-month thing. So leading up to the end of 2022, we talked about going with a bigger budget, started signing players, and we realised what sort of state the club was in. So the budget for this year was less than last year. So not a lot of money, but to me it was you're talking 2 or 3 players, 2 or 3 maybe quality players. But I understand the club are in a situation. If we'd spent that money, look where we ended up in June. If we'd spent some more money, we'd have been even in a worse position. So I could understand why the club said, "Hold on a minute, we need to reassess what we're doing here." So yeah, my budget has been less, and it's got less over the 2 year. Where we're competing against teams here that spent $500,000 and 600,000, 700,000. Some of them, the Feathersons and Tillers is over $1 million. And we spent 165,000 this year, Jordan, and considerably a lot less than Keithley may I add. They'll be 400, 500,000. It was well documented, all the players they were signing at the start of the year, and you can't. And I would rather have the squad I've got than somebody scop together a load of money that you just trying to buy championship status, and that's where we're at. We've got through this because of the lads and the effort and the determination they're putting for the love of the club. So that's the first thing I wanted to talk about, the budget. Just let the fans know where we're at as a club, and they have sort of stabilised a bit as a club now, and they've promised me that you can have a little bit more. It is just a little bit, but I'm happy with that. That was one of the conditions that I stayed on. Look, I need the budget. Give us the budget I need to compete in championship, because when people are asking for £20,000 and £25,000 for a lad who we wanted, this is going like every player that wants to play in championship is asking for that type of money, Jordan. Well, the average of our squad, I've just told you what we got budget-wise. The average of our contract was £6,500, mate. So we can't go after them £20,000 players. We're nowhere near that. Our best players, but you know what I mean? We're nowhere near that, Jordan. So that's the budget out of the way anyhow. And then you look at the injuries, same as last season. I thought last season was bad, but this season was just on par with that. You've got my captain and my vice captain. They played about 4 or 5 games between them, Callum and Dicko and Callum. Two of my better players. We didn't see them till the end of the season. And just I put on record about how Callum's done with his rehab, mate. Many a player wouldn't have played again, but that kid he mesmerises me with what he does regarding his fitness and what he does for his body to give him the best chance. And to come back from that injury was just brilliant, man. So you've got them, and you've got Bishop, his half-back. We haven't seen the best of Bish. That St Helens game, that was more or less Bish done. He's played 4 or 5 games since that, basically on one leg. I felt so sorry for Bish. I've had many conversations with him about we have not seen the best of him and how good he could have been for us. Then you lost Sam Freeman and Marcus O'Brien in the Good Friday games, both with serious knee injuries. And up to that point, I thought, bearing in mind we didn't have Newton up to that game and the Barry game, and Marcus O'Brien had done a great job for me at 9. He was probably our best player going into that game. We'd only played about half a dozen games before that. He didn't play a game again. Sam Freeman didn't play a game again after that, and we hadn't seen the best of Sam. Latterly, we've had Kingy who tore his hamstring against Barra, but Kingy made a difference in the Switten game 100%. But he made a difference in the Batley game away, definitely, and the Toulouse game. That's the type of player Kingy is. We'd have probably got at least 2 points out of them 3 games if we have the likes of Kingy playing. And then we've lost Guy later on with a foot injury. So it isn't good. And then when you look at what happened in June regarding the club and the finances and stuff, I lost 3 of my best middles in one night. The week leading up to the Newcastle game, mate, we had a meeting. I lost Tom Walker, I lost Liam McAvoy, and I lost Guy Graham. They were done. They finished. Guy eventually come back. The other 2 guys we didn't see again. So when you look at them players that we've got a full pack missing, I've got a half back and I've got a centre who's my captain missing all year, and it's killed us. And that's testament to the lads who's carried on playing, who at the time were playing and didn't know they were going to get paid to the end of the season. A massive thank you to them guys for just putting their hands up and saying, right, we need to do something here, we need to carry on. So, and that's the fellas who's kept us in this league and under these circumstances. So when you look at losing them players when we only had a squad of 24, 25, I'm naming teams But I can't. Yeah, you know, John, I give you every week. You're 21. You name me 21. I put people in who's been injured. Sometimes I think, well, why am I doing that? I'm not bothered. I'm up front person. Why should I name 21 when I haven't got 21? And I've named 18 at times, 19, and then I've only been able to play 16. Like, this is Championship Rugby League here. Which other team can say they've gone into games with 15 and 16 players? Like, I would beg to differ. There's only me. There's only us as a club who's done that. So so we lost all them players, and then you lead into that Newcastle game. The lads were. I've never seen the team so deflated in my life as I did at that week leading up to that Newcastle game, and that it showed. Fair play to Newcastle, they got over the top, wasn't it? And easy enough, they did. But I'm thinking, if things like the circumstances weren't like that, you have them players, we're not deflated, we win that game, and it's just what it was. And everybody, I'm not going to go into the detail of the club's finances because everybody's well aware of that now. I'm talking about the effect that had on my team and my staff. You know what I mean? We were doing the same thing as the lads. We all put our hands up to go again, go through it. So yeah, you're talking, like I say, it's been tough, mate. It really has been tough. So on the back of that, on the back of the RFL finding out what we were going through, I've got 15, 16 players who can play. Bearing in mind the training, I maybe only have 9 and 10 people at training. What the hell is supposed to do as a championship club with 9 and 10 people training because of what's going on and the injuries we've got, and people only, like, they can't train because if they did, it put them off at the weekend. Dicko and Josh Rourke haven't trained for the last 6 weeks. They've just played because they can't do what we call them Ledley King, because they can't train and play. And that has an effect on how you perform. Josh has been our best performer all year, but was he our best the last few games? And his knee he took to the field when he shouldn't have done. Dicko's took and they all have. A lot of players have. So you go back to June and July, and this all comes out. Then we've got 15 players who's fit, 16, and we're going to special measures, so we can't get anybody in. We can't get any. So we've had to release a couple of players, Liam McAvoy. Jake Bradley had already gone to work it in, which fair shout to understand Jake's reasons for going there, and that is what it is. But we had to release players to fetch likes to George Hill, and I can't speak highly enough of that kid. Just turned 18, and he's done an absolute fantastic job for us. He reminded me of Kane Robb, we got from Cass, just wholeheartedly. He's a 9. He ended up playing a lot of 13 for us. Said he loved it. His carries were good. He tackled well above his weight. Proper tough kid, and he's done a great job for us, that lad. But that's where we're at. That's come 4th of August. We've got what we've got because we couldn't fetch anybody in before that because we're in special measures. So we're finishing the season on a threadbare squad, and no wonder we only won 1 out of our last 10 or 12 games. It was because we're on our backside, Jordan. Lads are injured. They're playing with them when they shouldn't be playing. And it's just a snowball effect, mate. It's just one of them things that you just got to get on with it. And they did at times. And there's been games, Barra, Swinton, for instance, where regardless of what's going on off the field, it's us making mistakes on the field that cost us them games. So even when I've talked about what I've talked about, it's still down to we've been in positions to win these games, Jordan, and whether we haven't concentrated enough or whatever, we didn't win them games. But at the end of the day, mate, we're in championship next year, and we can't be like it's been this year, mate. It cannot be like what it's been. And I said it on Saturday night at the presentation, though, I wouldn't be sitting here as a Whitehaven head coach if I thought it was going to be like that again, mate. Fair play at the board. They've rallied together. We've got a lot of new men on board. We've got some good sponsors coming in. Bounty's done a great job for us, Calvin and his missus. Alistair with Ortis. They're all people that want to see the club prosper, and these new directors, they're coming on board. They've all got new ideas and that, mate. So luckily, hopefully, we won't see what we've seen this year next year, and that's why I'm happy to go around again, mate.
Pretty comprehensive. I don't think there's too much more to add to that, but and I think the fans will admire your honesty. We always see comments when we put up your post-match interviews or your pre-match interviews, whether it's for our socials, whether I speak to you for Radio Cumbria or whatever it's been in sort of last sort of few months, the fans, the comments we see on the social media, fair play to Jonty, your honesty, you don't take a step back, you don't try and blame other factors, and there's been plenty of them this season. We've just sort of run through them. You've always said it's those that take the field, that in that 80 minutes is only them that can sort of affect the result. And, you know, whether it's, you've mentioned it in your favourite phrasing, I think in the last weeks of the season, skill errors, whether it, you know, that it's always something you always seem to think about. But like you said, I think the fans will admire, like you said, your honesty, because there has been no steps back with yourself. But I think the fans need to know what has been affecting your club and affecting your squad. This and has been affecting your squad in 2023.
It's like this, John. My memory right now isn't the best. So if you're not honest, mate, you've got to have a good memory, and I haven't got a good memory. So I've got to be honest. That's how I am. I've been like that all my life. You've got to be like that, and it's the best thing in it. So it's out there now. We need what we've been through and what the lads have done to keep us in championship. What the board's been through, and I feel for them fellas, because there's many times they're putting their own money in when they shouldn't really be. We need to run the club a bit better, and now there's more directors there. I think we need to look at that. We need to get the sponsors lounge full every week, because I've gone in there at times and there's maybe 3 or 4 tables empty, but there's 10 at a table at, I don't know, 40 quid a pop. It's quite a lot of money if you look at all of the home games. Jordan, merchandise, Workington's got it right off the field. I don't know what bad is like, but you go to Workington, they've got a club shop there, you can go in and buy stuff, whether it's a scarf, a t-shirt, vest, shorts, whatever they've got there. We can't. But we're missing out a massive thing on merchandise. When lads are ordering it, lads ordered some themselves. It's taking 6 and 8 weeks to come. You know what I mean? People are wanting beanie hats and towels for their orders. It's September and October by the time they come in. So we need to smarten up on things that we can. Yes, we need sponsors, but we need to smarten up on how we are as a club regarding money we can fetch in readily like other clubs do. And I really do think we miss a tick on merchandise, mate. We really do.
So looking forward, we'll carry on. We've got, you mentioned about the sort of the season and the end of the season that you've had. You mentioned there about 10 or 12 games, one winning in 11 games. And obviously, it was after that was after that York game, we're on the Wednesday night, you won 1 in 11. Obviously, we've discussed some of the factors why, but I'd imagine after that York game and you'd looked at the fixtures, you wouldn't have been expecting only to pick up one victory. Obviously, there's two tight defeats in that. Obviously, the defeat against Barrow, which the 1 point, which Ryan Johnson dropped that goal in the last few minutes. The Swinton game where we could have secured the survival then. They dropped the goal in the final couple of minutes. But I'd imagine when looking at them running the fixtures, you would have been expecting to pick up more on the field, even despite the issues that you've had.
I'm just looking at my belt here, John. I don't. The lads don't know about this, but I look at the fixtures myself, and sometimes we make goals as a team, but in my mind, I'm realistic. I know what the squad's capable of. And after that York game, mate, I had us down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 winnable 6 games. I thought we should have won when the fixtures come out, and I don't do it for the full season. I'll let a few games go by, I'll do it, see what we're going like, and I'll put maybe the next 4 or 5 games down in my book. And after that York game, mate, definitely had 6 games at least that I thought we could have won. Because at 16 points with that many games to go, I thought we're all right here. We'll end up on 22, 24 points, possibly just miss out on the playoff place, because what was playoffs, 29, 28 or something like that.
Roughly, yeah.
So I would have been sitting pretty. Bearing in mind we've lost all them players, but that squad we still had out. That's with these players. Miss and I still had them 6 wins in with the squad we finished with this season with. That's how much confidence I've got in them lads who were playing. But I really do think they were down on confidence. Sometimes training was like it was too quiet. You could tell it was getting to the players there. But that's up to me, my coaching staff, my senior players to get the lads out that rut. It doesn't matter what's going on off the field. It's at 3 o'clock on a Sunday. We need to be ready for. And I can take that on the chin as head coach. I maybe need to be better in that department, John. But we didn't get nowhere near them 6 results, did we? And that's why we were towards the end of the season. It's just a good job we got them early results, like we said we did before.
because you mentioned your belief in this sort of squad is, you know, and you'll say you believe, apart from maybe them top two sides you've been mentioning in previous years, the likes of Featherstone and Toulouse, you believe you can go in against the remaining sides in this division and pick up anything, and you've shown it this season again.
Sheffield were second in the league. We'd done a double of them. Toulouse, fair enough, the pumped us away from home, but they're second in the league on Saturday when we played them, and we're pushing them close. I really do think it's a belief thing, because you look at Swinton and you look at Keighley. I haven't had a good look at the proper results of it, or the full results of the season. But when you look at our two Featherstone games, 70 points or 60 points, you look at the Toulouse away, there's 60 points difference, and you look at the Halifax game where 60-0. Them games they've put us in this position as much as the games against Sheffield and York have got us out of it. So if we go a try less in each of them games, Jordan, we've got 30 points going into Sunday. Less, better off than Keighley and Swinton. Because I can't remember them getting blew away that many times for that many points. So that's something. It just proves that this year that every single point was valuable. Yeah. You know what I mean? And them games, if we conceded one more time, them 70 blowouts would have been down. But if we'd only conceded 50 at Featherstone and 50 at Toulouse and put a better fight up than 60-0 at Halifax, we wouldn't be in this position, mate. So that's something I need to address next year regarding we've got to compete. We've been playing against every single game. We can't have them results there.
Because you've got a well-established Super League cycle. So you have got sort of Wakefield coming into the division. You can't let, they're going down. You're going to have one of, you'd imagine, either Featherstone or Toulouse going up, but that means one of them is then staying in the division. Your side have got to be able to compete and learn to compete against that, so you don't find yourself in this position again.
I know what you're getting at there, Jordan, and you're right. It's when I played, you thrived on playing better sides. You wanted to play the best sides because you wanted to pitch yourself against the best players. And we can't capitulate in games like that next year. I wanted to be like, hold on, nobody expects us to. And in games when we haven't expected to win, we've done well, apart from the Featherstone games, where other people's pushed them. If Halifax beat them, you know what I mean? First half against Halifax at home, we were in sort of in a decent position. So why does it? It's rugby league, I know that, but why can we do well against teams or beat teams that have beaten or done well against Featherstone? But when we play Featherstone and teams like that, you're getting 70 points, Brony. Is it a mental thing? Is that an attitude thing leading up late? Well, no chance here, but no, I don't like that. We've got every chance if you put your mind late and you do the right thing. You want to be better than the player opposite you. It's a challenge, and I want my players to be up to that challenge. And from the majority of the games, they are. But it's them 4 games that I've mentioned there. If I'm saying they put the cue in the rack, but if we competed better than what we did, we wouldn't have been in that position at the end of the year. Simple as it's points difference.
We've looked back enough, I think. We're going to look a little bit forward. Forward that we're looking at is some players are leaving the club. As we speak, we're announcing this afternoon of 7 players that are leaving the club. I'm just going to run through them. We're saying goodbye to Dave Eccleston, which we already knew of. He signed a contract at Derwent Park to sign for Workington next season. But the remaining 6, we're saying goodbye to Alex Bishop, Stan Freeman, Lachlan Lansky, Josh Rourke, Daniel Spencer-Tonks, and Lassarusa Taboo. Sort of them 7 lads. You've already sort of mentioned about Bish and Sam and sort of the long-term injuries they've had. But about them 7 players, I'm just going to let you talk about what they've fetched in, what you want to say about them and about their time at the club.
Yeah, there's Eki. I wasn't too happy that he announced with a few games left that he should have left it at the end of the season. But what I will say for Eki, after he did announce that, he's probably played his best rugby for us. He's been one of our most consistent performers as Eki over 2 years, whatever he's been here, especially this year. His carries out of backfield is good. He maybe does like that yard of pace. He's made a few breaks, but he hasn't done the distance. But he can score a try, and he's been really good for us. He's a great lad. No baggage, just get on with his stuff. And like you say, he's another one of these who's come through the systems at St. Helens and stuff like that. So you know what you're getting there. So I'm good that I'm lost in Nicky. That's obviously downhill. It's documented why he's gone. At the time, we couldn't guarantee him anything for next year, so he signed for working because they could. 3 weeks later, we were all right, and it was too late. Ecky's gone. So that's down to the financial problems at the club. We've lost Ecky. But yeah, fair play. Like, he's been a great player for us now. I wish him well. Sam and Bish, I spoke to Sam yesterday. Gutted for him. He's done 3 ACLs in 5 years or something. This one he done was the last, the middle ACL he done that and again at Barra. So I can't, and I had this conversation with Bish, I can't offer contracts to lads that I don't know that are going to be fully fit. If they get the rehab done and they're good to go, could I get them back on match money to earn a contract? There's that possibility, but I understand with Bish, especially with him being from overseas, he wants something more concrete, and I understand that. And if he's going to get that fair play, I'm just gutted we haven't seen the best of Bish. Great lad player, loads of Queensland Cup experience. He's a winner at training. Even when he's been training lately, you can see that. I don't know if it's the ginger in him or the halfback in him or a bit of both. He's got a winning mentality, mate, and we will miss him, like I said, we haven't seen the best of him, but we will miss him. Same with Sam. Lockie, I had a conversation with Lockie about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I feel for Lockie. He was ill towards the back end of the year, and he didn't really. He had about 4 or 5 weeks where he shouldn't have played because in the circumstances where he did. So fair play to Lockie for that. But I don't think we've seen the best of Lockie. When he was back home, he's played at the top level juniors with Brisbane, under 19s, 20s, whatever. And you look at his clips, and he was a different player. And I haven't seen the best of Lockie neither. And I don't know why, but that's where it's at. Yeah, same with Lass Taboo. I said to Lass, I think I've got Lass about maybe 6 or 7 years. If I got him 6 or 7 years ago, I would have seen a lot better than Lass. He's all-hearted player, typical Fijian, typical Islander. When he was off the back fence, if he carry, he does. He tries to hurt people when he's tackling them. I think he's done some sort of injury in the past with his leg. He's got that gait in his running. He's a bit older now. Hasn't got great minutes in him, but he's all-hearted player and lovely guy. Absolutely the most humble, quietest guy I've ever known in my life. And I wish him and Lockie well. We're going on till Spencer Tonks, Dan. Dan's been good for us. We picked Dan up from Salford Reserve. Stu Wilkinson give us Dan, big thing, big strong lad. He's only played the game for a couple of years. He's a rugby union lad. It would be nice to keep on it down, but I can understand it. Bearing in mind, he travels from Gloucester. He goes between Gloucester and Wigan all week, and then he comes up to Whitehaven. So fully understand Dan's situation. He's got a few kids. He needs somewhere close to home and possibly a better contract where he was getting up, which I've touched on contracts with other clubs. So Dan's been all right for us. He's got a lot to learn regarding what his positional specifics are, but there's no doubting he's a big, strong thing that carries hard when you run at him straight on. He can tackle it. He can tackle hard as well. So, yeah, that's done. Josh, same again with Josh. Josh was just having some games in Salford Reserves. Still will, again, pointed out that we've got this kid that could do something for you. So, Charlo done a bit of digging. Ashley done a bit of digging. And we've unearthed the gem in Josh, haven't we? Just gutted that he's moving on. Totally understand it is when clubs are putting the money in front of him that they are, and it's only 20 minutes, half an hour away from his house rather than 3 hours and a lot less money. I can see where he's gone, more established, a championship club, which I understand. A lot of Lachlan Warmers has done that, King has done that, Will Evans done that. They're only here he wants to play this game, so if they can get the best out of what they can, I'm good. I really am good. I'm losing Josh. I've had a few conversations about his game with him. These 1 or 2 things defensively he needs to sort out with his positional stuff. But once he gets that, mate, once he nails that, he's going to be some player. 23, 24 is he now. So you can't speak highly enough for them all, to be fair, mate. Some of them haven't had as much game time as we'd like. Some of them aren't hanging about as long as we like, but that's rugby for you. Doors shutting, doors open all the time. So I just wish all them lads well, mate. To be fair, they've done a good job for us, and we've had some loans at the back end of the season, haven't we? Fell for Brad Aldroyd. I told Brad I was going to give him some game time, but I thought we'd be clear then. But when Josh is declaring himself fit and Dicko's declaring himself fit, I can't lose Eki and I can't lose Scott Tier, Curtis Tier, because them two, Curtis has done a great job, same as Eki. So Brad found it and difficult, and understandably difficult, that he wasn't getting game time. Same with Will Groves. Will was on the bench he had a game at 20 minutes at Widnes for us, on the bench again at the weekend, didn't get him on. Totally understood why, too close for comfort. But the one, George Hill, mate, what a player he's going to be, isn't he? Can't speak highly enough for George. 18-year-old mate, just tough as teak. He's got a good future in front of him. So I don't know what's happening. I think he'll be staying at Cass. Whether we can get George back on loan next year for the season long or what, I don't know. But I'd love to get him there, because he's a good kid. Like, he's all-heartedly, no baggage, full on, everything he does. So yeah, fair play for them three for sticking by us as well.
We've got 2 minutes left as I'm looking at it. We've announced Rio Corkill coming in for 2024. Rio said he's ambitious. He wants to be playing Championship Rugby League, and he sees his best option here doing that in 2024 at least. He's at Whitehaven. What are you going to get in Rio Corkill?
Yeah, good kid. I tried to get Rio last year. Signed for Barra kid, to understand that. Same as Eki and Chris Taylor. Now, whoever's come through these Super League systems, you know what you're getting. He's full on. He's got no baggage. You can play. Centre's his preferred position. Play back row. Play middle if you wanted. You know what I mean? So yeah, he's a good kid, and that's the type of person I want in my squad. Somebody who's going to come, work hard, try and get the place, and give us no crap off the field. You know what I mean? So Rio fits the bill in all them positions, mate. So I'm chuffed to bits to get Rio eventually. Hopefully we've got some more to announce fairly shortly.
Yeah. As we look, you've got a few of the players signed up, a few of the squad signed up. Still work to do. More announcements on that in the coming weeks. We'll keep the fans a bit teased on that one. We've got 60 seconds left, Jonty. What final words do you want to say about the 2023 season?
I just want to say a big thank you to Des Byrne, the VPs, and to Simon and Sean for the supporters, what they have done money-wise to keep the squads together, and it helped me get players in when I needed it. I can't speak highly enough for them, and that's going to continue this year. I wouldn't be able to get the squad I want without them guys, as well as what the board do for us. So thanks for the VPs and Simon and Sean and Simon with the supporters clubs. And just the fans, really, mate. Massive thank you to the fans sticking by us as they do every year. Length and breadth of the country, south of France. When we're getting beat, they're still there cheering the lads on. So I just hope that support gets the credit it deserves, and we play as a team next year and give them something back to cheer about, and hopefully get up towards them playoffs next season, mate. So thank you very much to all the fans that support us all year.